Understanding your unlimited potential. Hello there and welcome to this channel. We are fans of the legend Dr. Myles Munroe. Our goal is to share his message to everyone and to make his legacy live on. Subscribe to be part of this amazing journey. Today we are going to look at your unlimited potential. The potency of your potential requires external life to be realized. According to Myles Munroe's teaching, before we discuss the awesome task of tapping our true and full potentials, it is essential that we come to appreciate how important each one of us is and how special we are to God. If you were aware of how much power and wealth you have, the first thing that would be affected would be your attitude towards yourself. Many of us have a difficult time projecting a good attitude towards others because we feel bad about ourselves. Great positive thinkers and potential motivators, along with psychologists, all agree that if you feel good about yourself, then your attitude towards others would be influenced by that. However, for many positive thinking programs, this is simply an attempt to convince oneself about mental assent that you are of value and worth. It's an attempt to convince you of something you don't believe. On the contrary, what we are discussing here is something different. We are talking here about the fact grounded in truth and reality and established by the one who created you. Your potential. Your worth, value, and potential have all been given by God, and there is no formula, test, or scheme to measure the full extent of these qualities and abilities. Therefore, according to Myles Munroe's teachings, let us flip through some principles and concepts. It is essential that you understand these if you are going to tap into your true and full potential. Potential unlimited. Now listen, everything that is was in God. In essence, everything that exists came out of God or proceeded out of His creative spirit. He is the source of everything. The first verse of the book of Genesis introduces God as the creator of all things. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But I would again like to take you back before time began, before there was a creation. Let's consider what I call the verse before Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. We'll call it Genesis chapter 1 verse 0. Where was everything before creation came to be? Dr. Myles suggested that the first verse of the Bible could be written as follows. Before there was a beginning, there was God. Before there was a creation, there was a creator. Before anything was, there was God. Genesis chapter 1 verse 0. The above verse means God did not begin when the beginning began. He began the beginning. He did not start when start got started. He started start. There was no beginning without God. He is the source, creator and sustainer of everything. Nothing exists that He did not create. If it does not exist, it is because He has not yet created it. He is the ultimate source of everything. Anything and everything that comes after the beginning has to come out of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. Before anything existed, God had it in Him. That is the reason we ascribe to God only the term omnipotent. Potent is the word from which we derive the word potential. Omni is defined as meaning all or everything. Therefore, the ascription omnipotent means one who is all potential or all power, all ability, seen or unseen, used or unused, manifested or yet unmanifested. God does not only have potential, He is potential and the source of all potential. The source of all potential is in the omnipotent one. The potential of a thing is related to its source. The source of all potential is in the omnipotent one. This means wherever something comes from determines the potential it has. The degree or potency of that potential can be your true ability, and potential should not be measured by the limitations of an academic test or an intelligent question score. Nor should it be determined by the social, cultural, economic, and educational norms of your society. Society did not create you. You are not the product of your culture. You are not the offspring of your economy. You were not created by the Department of Education. Therefore, none of these has the right to determine how much potential you really possess. If you want to know how much potential you have, first discover who created or manufactured you. Then check the demands he is making upon your life. Whatever he is demanding of you, you can do. The potential of a thing is determined by the demands made on it by the one who made it. What are the limits of your potential? According to the monk motivational speaker Jay Shetty, the people who change the world and significantly impact humanity are those who have discovered the limitless nature of their potential. They are people who decided to take the word impossible out of their dictionaries. If you are going to realize and maximize your full potential, you will have to understand the true nature of your potential. But to do this, you must first understand the process of your creation and the source from which you came. At this point, let us review a principle that is essential to understanding the process. When God created the earth and made the fullness of its beauty, He used the following principles. Number 1, He proposed and decided what He wanted. Number 2, He then decided what kind of material substance He wanted it made from. Number 3, He then spoke to the substance or material from which He wanted it made. Number 4, and whatever He said to what He was speaking to came out of what He spoke to exactly how He wanted. Whatever came out of what God spoke to was made of the same material substance from which it came. In essence, whatever God spoke to became the same material for the thing that came out of what He spoke it from. For better understanding, Myles Munroe puts it even better. This process principle is evidenced in the first chapter of Genesis. For example, when God wanted to create plant life and vegetation, He said, "Let the land produce vegetation." And it was so. The land produced vegetation. Genesis chapter 1 verse 11 to 12. When God wanted to make stars, He said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night." And it was so. Genesis chapter 1 verses 14 to 15. When God wanted fish or marine life, He said, "Let the waters teem with living creatures." So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living and moving thing with which the waters teems. Genesis chapter 1 verse 20 to 21. When God wanted animals, He said, "Let the land produce living creatures." And it was so. So God made all the creatures that move along the ground. Genesis chapter 1 verse 24 to 25. If you examine these scriptures from Genesis, you will discover whatever God wanted, He spoke to the material substance from which He wanted it made. He wanted plants to be made out of soil or dirt, so He spoke them out of the earth. That is why when a plant dies, it decomposes back to the soil. He spoke the stars from the gases in space. Therefore, stars are 100% high-density nuclear gas explosions. When a star dies, it dissipates into gases and returns to the original state. Scientists have discovered this to be true. Because God wanted animals made from the soil, God spoke to the earth when He created them. Animals are therefore 100% soil. When animals die, they too decompose and return to the soil. The same process and principle is also true for marine life. Therefore, when God wanted plants and vegetation, He spoke to the soil. When He wanted stars, He spoke to the gases. When He wanted fish, He spoke to the waters. And when He wanted animals, He spoke to the earth. But when God wanted you, He spoke to Himself. It is important to understand here that whatever God speaks to produces what God says and is therefore composed of the same material substance. So as plants are soil, stars are gases, and animals are soil, even so man is spirit, because he came out of God. Man does not have a spirit, he is spirit, because of the source from which he came. Man therefore has unlimited potential.